What's going on, everyone? So we're all still very surprised, right, that Luka is a Los Angeles Laker. That trade came out of left field. I'm glad it got done, right? Now we begin to make our push. Luka is off minute restriction, right? We can start heading in a positive direction these last 30 games, start playing for our playoff seeding, and then gearing up for the playoffs come playoff time, right? Well, goal is championship or bust, right? So let's get it. Let's lock in. Let's try to win this NBA championship. But obviously, media is still very focused on the Luka trade. You have obviously NBA execs are still crying about it. Oh, it's not fair. We didn't get to make an offer. Nobody would have made a better offer than the Lakers did because no one was going to trade a guy like Anthony Davis. Dallas didn't want a rebuild package. If they wanted a rebuild package, guess what? They would have went and got a rebuild package. They didn't want that. They wanted a contending type of package. They wanted a package that they believe still made them better. No one has a player that they're trading for Luka because they'd want to pair that guy with Luka. Right? So it doesn't make any sense. Let them keep crying. Dallas fans, obviously, you feel for them. Those are the only ones that I get. I'm like, yeah, I'd probably still be upset if we had traded like a 25-year-old Kobe or something. But the media and everyone else, it's silly at this point. Dallas keeps dragging Luka through the mud. It's insane to me. But I'm going to have a very motivated Luka. I can't wait to see him next season and how he looks, especially working alongside LeBron. But a big question is the longevity with the Lakers, right? Lakers are not out of the woods, right? Lakers could very well see Luka walk, in this time next year, or I guess a year and a half, right? I don't believe it happens. I don't think it's going to happen, but it is a possibility until he signs an extension, right? I think that he's going to stick around. I think he'll at least sign this next extension. He is young, right? He'll sign this next extension, and then depending on where the Lakers are at, then I think that conversation could be a real conversation. But I think this first step, I don't see them being like, Lakers, I would imagine, have already done their due diligence. The Lakers, I imagine, have already had those conversations and already have it worked out if he's staying, like what kind of extension. Obviously, you're giving him the max extension, all that stuff. So I'm not really worried about that. But there are questions. He is due for an extension this upcoming offseason. He does not qualify for the Supermax, so he won't get the big max money. So what does his extension look like? Now, his extension is likely only going to be 3 years. That doesn't mean he's leaving in 3 years. It just makes the most sense for him to maximize and get as much money as possible. Him not getting the Supermax is huge for the Lakers because that is a cheap Luka for a couple years. I mean, he's still going to be expensive, but a cheaper Luka for a couple years that he'll be able to then build the roster and the team around him before that next extension. Hopefully you have a couple championships in that process as well. But Luka, the reason he would sign a 3-year extension is because then that would lead him into his 10th year of service, and which he can then get 30% of the cap. So he can start to recoup some of the money that he would have lost otherwise. Obviously, he's never going to be able to recoup all of that because, it's a big difference between a Supermax and not extra year, extra money, especially as the cap continues to increase and stuff like that. But he is a guy that will be able to get a pretty sizable paycheck, going into, what would it be, like 28, 29. So he'd still be on the right side of 30. And the Lakers are going to be, Lakers will absolutely give him that money, right? Lakers will pay him whatever they have to pay him in order for him to keep it and keep him around. So again, I'm not worried about losing him. Now, that doesn't mean that the Lakers can just be all, willy-nilly and just like, hey, it's no big deal. We'll just take our time. And no, you still, you need to prove to him, like, hey, we're trying to win championships here. And I also think LeBron being around, I do think will help and do wonders for him. One, for his conditioning. One, to just, it gives him the best player he's ever played with, right? And likely ever will play with. Even LeBron, age 40 or 22, still a top 10 player in the league at worst, right? I mean, and we've seen him on many nights be able to tap in and be the best player, right? Like, the guy is insane. And I've talked about, right? These two guys have probably never in their lives, ever, like even as kids, have probably never played with anybody as good or close to the level of them. I mean, LeBron James was crowned the king at like 13. Luka at like 13 was like winning MVPs and championships in the second hardest league in the world, right? Like these guys are just the prodigies, right? Like they are, just insane specimens. And LeBron's going to be able to kind of help Luka see, right? Like LeBron needed it, right? He went to Miami and went under their culture and they already won, and then having Dwayne Wade and stuff, right? Like you need that sometimes, right? Some players just need, like, they need that to see what it's like, right? LeBron was on a team like Cleveland, and they weren't serious about trying to win. I mean, how many times was it like, how long was LeBron supposed to stick around for, right? I mean, there are times where his best player was like Mo Williams, right? Like, it's just like, come on, man. Like, it's one of those things where you saw him go to a team like Miami under the culture, under Pat Riley, under Dwayne Wade, who had already won, right? Like, it changes your perspective. You see things, you understand things, you see what does it take to get to that level, so on and so forth. And you saw LeBron really, like, that was the moment he really started to peak, right? And I think you'll see a lot of the same things with Luka. I think you'll see Luka be with LeBron, see his regime, see how much work and effort he puts in, right? Like, it's contagious, right? It rubs off on you. I mean, look, like, great examples. Look at the Olympic documentary with Kobe, right? Was it 2018 or whatever? Where they all talked about, like, Kobe's there. We're all just kind of, doing our thing. Kobe's, we're getting back from the club. Kobe's up. We're like, oh, what are you doing? And he's like working out. And then they all wanted him to go. So he goes to the club with them. And then he's still there. All right, guys, come on, let's go work out. And he's like, by, day 3, we're all in the gym working out, 4 a.m. alongside Kobe, because it's just like, we don't want to be that guy, right? Like Luka, he has a ton of motivation, right? From Dallas, just continuously dragging him through the mud. And then you add in the fact that, now he's going to be able to work alongside LeBron, see LeBron's work ethic, see LeBron, the way he conditions and the way that he takes care of his body and all that stuff, right? The championship level and pedigree, like the level that it takes to get there. Like, I think Luka is really going to learn a ton and go a very long way alongside LeBron. So I don't see Luka going anywhere. I don't think that there's any concerns. There are a lot of talks about right now, oh, Luka's due for an extension in the summer. Is he going to sign that extension? Yes, he will. Like, I'm not worried about that. I believe that Luka will be around at least, 5 years, if not longer. Again, the only reason I say that is because, again, like, it depends on where the Lakers are at, right? If the Lakers, if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, if they're not, like, post LeBron, Lakers are just like bottoming out and stuff, or being a play-in team or things like, Luka's not, how long is Luka going to want to stick around in that, right? So Lakers still have to do their part and hold up their end. I'm not worried about the Lakers doing that, because we know the Lakers will try to do that, especially with a guy like Luka every year you're a contender now, having Luka. So I do imagine that the Lakers are going to do their due diligence, going to put in the effort. But if you're concerned about Luka potentially leaving, don't be. I would be there's not a lot of things that shock me, right? Luka leaving would genuinely shock me, because I don't see it happening. But again, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Disagree? Kind of mixed in the middle? How do you think, like, no, he'll retire a Laker or anything like that? I absolutely believe that is the most likely scenario, but just things to keep in mind. But let me know your thoughts and opinions, how you feel. Either way, down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out, so we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.